The eye is a linguistic convenience, not a biological reality. Most of us feel like a pilot trapped inside a body, steering our thoughts and controlling our actions. But if you look for this pilot, where is it? In this episode of Philosophical First Aid, we dive into one of Alan Watts's most mind-bending insights, the trap of language. We explore how the subject-verb-object structure of Western language forces us to invent a doer for every deed, turning a fluid universe into a collection of static, anxious nouns. Stop defending a definition, start being the dance. We navigate our lives through a dense fog of labels, mistaking the names of things for the things themselves, and wondering why we feel so profoundly empty. We are like people who spend all their time studying the menu, but never actually taste the dinner. Giờ đây, chúng ta hãy cùng khám phá trí tuệ sâu sắc, không nằm ở việc thêm vào, mà ở việc buông bỏ. In the ordinary world of the modern mind, we inhabit a reality that is almost entirely symbolic. From the moment we open our eyes, we begin a process of translation. We don't see a vibrant, pulsing field of light and energy. We see a table, a tree, a car, a stranger. We have been trained to slice the seamless flow of existence into manageable chunks of information. This is the great convenience of language, the ability to categorize, define, and communicate. However, this convenience has become our greatest prison. We have forgotten that the word water cannot quench your thirst, and the word fire cannot burn you. We have become victims of the taboo of definition, where we are no longer allowed to experience life without first passing it through the filter of a label. This linguistic trap is the hidden source of much of our modern anxiety. We feel a deep sense of unease because we are trying to live in a world of static nouns, while our actual experience is one of fluid verbs. We name ourselves I, and in doing so, we create a rigid boundary. We define ourselves by our professions, our failures, our successes, and our traumas. We take these words, these mental abstractions, and we wear them like heavy armor. We spend our energy defending the definition of who we are, rather than simply being who we are. The hero of our story is currently trapped in this world of ink and paper, feeling the crushing weight of 1,000 labels, unaware that the prison walls are made only of descriptions. Consider the fundamental structure of our Western language: the subject, the verb, and the object. The lightning flashes, the wind blows, I think. On the surface, this seems like common sense, but Alan Watts invites us to look closer. Is there really a lightning that is separate from the flashing? Can you find a wind that is not currently blowing? Of course not. The lightning is the flashing, the wind is the blowing. Our language, however, forces us to invent a doer for every deed. It creates a ghost in the machine, a static noun, that is supposedly the owner of the action. This grammatical habit is the birth of the ego. We believe there is an I that has thoughts, an I that performs actions. We have mistaken a linguistic necessity for a biological reality. This split between the doer and the deed creates a profound sense of isolation. If I am the thinker behind the thoughts, then I am separate from my mind. If I am the liver of my life, then I am separate from the world. We feel like a lonely pilot sitting inside a biological vehicle, looking out at a universe that is not us. This is the ordinary world of the hero, a world of total alienation where everything is defined, categorized, and therefore dead. We have replaced the mystery of being with the security of naming. But security is a static concept, and life is a dynamic flow. The more we define our security, the more we feel the threat of the undefined. We use language to capture reality, much like a person might try to capture the flowing water of a stream in a bucket. Once the water is in the bucket, it is no longer flowing. It is stagnant. It is captured water, which is a contradiction in terms. Similarly, a defined life is no longer living. It is a fossilized record of where life used to be. The hero feels this stagnation as boredom, burnout, and a nagging suspicion that something vital is missing. We try to solve this by adding more labels. We seek more knowledge, more data, more information, not realizing that we are just adding more buckets to a dry house. The taboo, as Watts described it, is the social agreement that we must never acknowledge the wordless reality. We are encouraged to talk about the world, to analyze it, to measure it, and to critique it, but we are rarely encouraged to simply be it. Society relies on definitions to maintain order. It needs you to be a taxpayer, a consumer, a citizen, and a personality. If you were to realize that you are actually a nameless, definitionless process of cosmic energy, you would become ungovernable in the conventional sense. You would no longer be driven by the fear of failing to meet a definition. And so the world of labels is enforced from the nursery to the grave. The hero's journey begins when they realize that the map they have been following is not the territory. You have been looking at a map of the good life and wondering why you don't feel the sun on your face or the wind in your hair. The map is useful for navigation, but you cannot live on the map. You cannot eat the menu. The anxiety of overthinking is essentially the mind spinning its wheels on the map, trying to find a route to a reality that is already right beneath its feet. We are thinking about life so much that we have no time to live it. Think of the word self. When we use this word, we imagine a solid, permanent thing. We try to protect the self, improve the self, and find the self. But in the wordless world, there is no such thing. There is only a changing pattern of sensations, memories, and biological rhythms. By giving it a single name, self, we create the illusion of a static object that can be damaged or lost. This is the root of our existential dread. We are terrified that the noun will be erased. We don't realize that we are a verb, and a verb cannot be erased. It can only transition into another movement. As we prepare to leave the ordinary world, we must face the trial of the dictionary. We must begin to question the authority of our own thoughts. We must realize that every time we say, "I am blank," we are telling a lie. Whether you say, "I am a failure," or "I am a success," both are equally false because they attempt to freeze a river into a block of ice. The mentor's call is a call to silence, not the silence of having nothing to say, but the silence of realizing that the most important truths cannot be said at all. We are moving toward a realization that is deeply threatening to the ego, but infinitely liberating to the spirit. We are going to deconstruct the ghost in the machine. We are going to see how the very structure of our sentences has been keeping us in a state of chronic stress. We are going to learn that the I is not a master of the universe, but a linguistic shorthand that we have mistaken for a god. The desire for this liberation is the call to adventure. It is the thirst for the water that no bucket can hold. It is the longing to be nothing in particular so that you can finally be everything that is happening. We are stepping out of the dictionary and into the dance. We are crossing the threshold from the world of meaning about into the world of meaning in itself. Now we shall explore the mechanics of this linguistic hypnosis and discover how to wake up from the dream of definitions. To move deeper into this journey, we must confront the fundamental hallucination that governs almost every waking moment of our lives. The belief that you are a static thing that performs actions. This is the core of our linguistic hypnosis. We have been conditioned by the very structure of our sentences to believe in a doer behind the deed. But as we enter this second act, the stage of trials and deconstruction, the mentor invites us to look at the world without the interference of the dictionary. Imagine you are standing in a field during a summer storm. You see a brilliant streak of light tear across the sky. You say, "The lightning flashed." In your mind, there is a lightning, a noun, that performed an action, flashing. But look closer. Can you have lightning that doesn't flash? Is there a static object called lightning that sits in the sky and occasionally decides to flash? Of course not. The lightning is the flashing. They are one and the same event. Our language, however, insists on splitting them in two. It creates a thing and an action. And in that split, the first seed of the ego is planted. We apply this same faulty logic to ourselves. We say, I think. This implies that there is a static, permanent I, the noun, that is the owner and operator of the thinking, the verb. We imagine a little man inside our heads, a pilot sitting at a control panel, pushing buttons to generate thoughts. But if you look into your own mind, can you find the thinker? If you watch a thought arise, do you see yourself making it happen? Or does the thought simply pop into existence like a bubble in a boiling pot? Alan Watts suggested that I think is as grammatically misleading as it rains. We say it is raining, but what is the it that is doing the raining? Is there a separate entity called it that is performing the action of raining? No, there is just raining. In the same way, there is just thinking. The I is a grammatical ghost, a linguistic placeholder that we have mistaken for a biological reality. This is the ghost in the machine, the belief that you are a driver of the body rather than the living of the body itself. The trial for the hero is the realization that we are living in a world of fossilized verbs. We take the flowing, wiggly reality of nature and we freeze it into nouns so that we can talk about it. We see a river, a constant moving flow, and we name it the Mississippi. Once it has a name, we treat it as a static object. We are shocked when it floods or changes course because our noun definition didn't include those actions. We do the same to ourselves. We name ourselves successful or anxious or introverted, and we try to live up to those static definitions. We become fossilized by our own descriptions. Think of a whirlpool. When you look at a whirlpool in a stream, it looks like a distinct thing. You can point to it, you can name it, you can even photograph it. But the whirlpool has no stuff of its own. It is simply a pattern of water moving in a specific way. The water flows into the whirlpool and flows out again, but the pattern remains. If the water stops flowing, the whirlpool vanishes. You are exactly like that whirlpool. You are a pattern of energy, a whirl in the stream of the universe. The atoms in your body are constantly being replaced. You are not the stuff, you are the doing. But language forces you to identify with the stuff. It makes you believe you are the bucket rather than the stream. This leads to the anxiety of naming. We are terrified of anything that we cannot label. If we feel a sensation in our bodies that doesn't have a medical name, we panic. If we find ourselves in a social situation that doesn't have a clear role, we feel awkward. We use definitions as a form of categorical imperialism, trying to conquer the mystery of existence with the flags of our vocabulary. But the more we define the world, the more we lose the feeling of the world. We become like a person who is so busy cataloging every leaf in the forest that they never notice the forest is alive. The mentor challenges us to see that definitions are social fictions. A dollar bill is just a piece of paper with ink on it. It only has value because we have all agreed on a definition. A citizen is just a biological human being. The citizenship is a legal definition. These definitions are useful for playing the game of society, but they are not the truth of who you are. The taboo is the realization that you are the nameless, definitionless energy that exists before the labels are applied. Consider the trap of self-improvement. Most of us are trying to improve ourselves based on a definition. We want to be more productive, more peaceful, or more enlightened. But who is doing the improving? It is the ego noun trying to change itself. This is like a finger trying to point at its own tip, or a knife trying to cut its own handle. It is a psychological deadlock. The harder you try to be a certain definition, the more you feel the friction of the reality you are suppressing. The philosophical first aid is to realize that you don't need to become anything, because you are not a thing to begin with. You are a happening. Watts often spoke about the wisdom of insecurity. When we define things, we feel secure because we think we know what they are. But this security is a hallucination. Life is fundamentally insecure because it is fundamentally changing. By trying to capture life in definitions, we are like someone trying to tie the wind in a knot. The hero's trial is to learn to be comfortable with the undefined, to look at a tree and not see the word tree, but to see the dancing, vibrating reality that is actually there. To look into the mirror and not see John or Mary, but to see a local wiggle of the entire cosmos. Our language also creates the illusion of linear time. We speak of the past, the present, and the future as if they were three separate rooms in a house. We spend time, save time, and waste time. This makes us feel like we are on a conveyor belt, moving toward a destination. But time is just a way of measuring change. There is only ever the now, which is constantly changing its pattern. By naming the future, we create a destination to worry about. By naming the past, we create a ghost to be haunted by. The anxiety of overthinking is almost always a struggle with these named time zones. We are trying to solve a future problem with past data while ignoring the present reality. The hero must now encounter the silence of the source. The mentor leads us to a place where words fail. In many Eastern traditions, this is called the void, or sunyata. To the Western mind, void sounds like nothingness or death. But to the enlightened mind, the void is the fullness from which all definitions arise. It is the blank screen that allows the movie to be seen. It is the silence that allows the music to be heard. To find the victory, you must be willing to let go of your name and your history and stand naked in the wordless presence of the universe. As the hero moves through this analysis, a profound desire for liberation arises. You begin to crave a life that is not lived in a dictionary. You want to feel the world again, not just think about it. You want to breathe without saying, I am breathing. You want to love without saying, I am a lover. You want to be free from the constant, chattering narrator in your head that is forever labeling, judging, and defining every second of your existence. This desire is the signal that the linguistic prison is starting to dissolve. You are discovering that the I you were so worried about is just a legal fiction, similar to a corporation. A corporation is a legal person, but you cannot shake hands with a corporation. You cannot find the company anywhere in the office. You only find people, desks, and papers. The I is exactly the same. It is a useful way of organizing social behavior, but it has no self-nature. It is a shorthand for a complex, universal transaction. When you realize this, the struggle of life changes its tone. You no longer have to uphold an identity. You no longer have to defend a definition. You can play the role of you with a sense of humor and lightheartedness. You can be sincere without being serious. You are like an actor who has spent the whole play thinking they really were the character, and then suddenly hears the director whisper, "It's just a play." The relief is overwhelming. We are preparing for the return with victory, but before we can return, we must face the final trial, the total surrender of the thinker. We must see that there is no me that is separate from the universe, and that the world is not something that happens to us, but something that happens as us. We are moving from the world of meaning about to the world of meaning itself. The fog of labels is thinning. The silence is getting louder. We are ready to stop talking about the dinner and start eating it. The hero returns to the world of names and forms, but the dictionary no longer feels like a prison. We have traveled through the silence of the source, where the labels of good and bad, self and other, success and failure dissolve into the white light of pure existence. Now, as we step back into our daily lives, we carry the ultimate victory, the ability to use language as a tool without being used by it. We have found the philosophical first aid that heals the wound of overthinking, the realization that you are not the noun you have been taught to defend, but the verb that is currently dancing. When you return to your ordinary world, the streets are the same, the people are the same, and your bank account remains exactly as it was. But something fundamental has shifted. You no longer mistake the menu for the dinner. You look at your boss, your spouse, or your reflection in the mirror, and you see through the labels. You see that boss is a role, spouse is a relationship, and me is a social convenience. Beneath these masks, there is only the seamless, pulsing flow of the universe. The first practical step in this return is the practice of wordless awareness. In our modern life, we are constantly narrating our experience. We are like sports commentators who never stop talking, even when the game is over. I am walking now. It is cold. I hope I'm not late. That person looked at me weirdly. This internal chattering is the sound of the ego trying to maintain its definition. The victory is the ability to turn off the commentary and simply be the game. Watts suggested that we should occasionally look at the world as if we had just arrived from another planet. If you were an alien with no knowledge of human language, what would you see? You wouldn't see money, you would see colored paper and metal discs. You wouldn't see status, you would see patterns of posture and tone of voice. You wouldn't see anxiety, you would see a specific vibration in the chest and a quickening of the breath. By stripping away the definitions, you allow the raw energy of life to reach you directly. You find that the anxiety is not a thing that is trying to kill you. It is just a movement of energy that has been mislabeled by a frightened narrator. This leads to the freedom of no thinker action. When we believe in the ghost in the machine, the I, who is the driver of the body, are constantly checking ourselves. We are thinking about thinking and willing ourselves to will. This is what causes the paralysis of overthinking. It is like a centipede who becomes unable to walk because someone asked it which leg it moves first. The hero who has returned realizes that there is no one to walk the legs. The legs walk themselves. There is no thinker behind the thoughts. The thoughts think themselves. When you let go of the idea that you are the manager of your life, a strange thing happens. You become more effective. You act with the spontaneity of a cat chasing a leaf. You speak with the flow of a mountain stream. You find that the intelligence of your body and the intelligence of the universe are the same thing. You don't have to make your heart beat, and you don't have to make your life happen. It is happening as you. The transformation of the person into the it is not a loss of individuality, but the discovery that the individual is the way the it is currently acting. In your social life, this victory manifests as linguistic grace. You still use names, you still pay your bills, you still fill out forms, but you treat these definitions as money, useful symbols for the exchange of social energy. You no longer mistake the dollar for the wealth. You realize that your social identity is a costume. When someone insults yourself, it is like someone insulting the character you are playing in a play. You don't have to get angry. You can admire the quality of their performance. You can play your role with more wit and sincerity because you are no longer terrified of losing your definition. This is the state of living without a pilot. To the ego, this sounds like chaos, but to the hero, it is the ultimate order. It is the realization that the universe is not a machine that needs a driver, but a dance that needs a dancer. And a dancer doesn't drive the dance, they are the dance. The I is not a master, it is a transaction. You are a transaction between the air and the lungs, between the light and the eyes, between the earth and the feet. Tomorrow morning, as you wake up, before you say your name to yourself, before you check your phone for your schedule, and before you start the narration of your day, just listen. Listen to the sounds of the room without naming them. Don't hear the clock ticking or the cars outside. Just hear the vibrations. Feel your body without naming it. Don't feel my legs or my back. Just feel the sensation. For a few precious seconds, live in the wordless world. In that silence, you will find the victory. You will find that you are already okay. You will find that the problem of life was only a problem of definition. When the definitions are gone, the problems vanish, leaving only the situations, and you are perfectly capable of handling situations. We return to the community not to preach, but to be a silent presence. When you stop defining yourself in others, you become a space where others feel safe. You stop judging because you realize that judgment is just another bucket trying to catch the waterfall. You become a mirror. A mirror reflects the mud without becoming muddy. It reflects the sun without becoming hot. It allows all definitions to pass through it while remaining essentially void and clear. The journey of the hero concludes with the realization that the taboo against knowing who you are was the final piece of the game. We had to pretend to be limited, defined nouns, so that the drama could be intense. We had to forget we were the flow so that we could experience the thrill of being a thing. But now the game has been seen through. You can continue to play, you can continue to use the words, but you will never be caught in the trap again. You are the nameless energy. You are the it. You are the which then which, there is no whicher. The dictionary is open, but the birds have flown out. The menu is in your hand, but the taste of the dinner is in your mouth. You have moved from meaning about to meaning itself. And meaning itself doesn't need to be said. It is being done. Go forth and be the verb. The trap of language is the final boundary of the ego. By recognizing that our names, roles, and selves are merely linguistic shortcuts, we liberate ourselves from the chronic anxiety of upholding a static identity. We return to the wordless reality where life is experienced as a seamless, spontaneous flow, allowing us to engage with the world with sincerity, humor, and a deep, unshakable peace.